According to our World in Data, a little over 45% of the United States population has received a full dosage of the COVID-19 vaccine. As states begin to reopen and as vaccination rates rise, the NFL and the NFL Players Association have agreed on new COVID-19 protocols for training camp and the preseason. And it draws a pretty big line between vaccinated and unvaccinated players, causing some major frustrations. So let's take a deeper dive into the new protocols in a post-vaccine NFL for 2021. How would that work? In a memo released last week, the NFL and NFLPA updated the COVID-19 protocols for 2021's early season, and life will be incredibly different for vaccinated NFL personnel compared to those who are not vaccinated. Let's take a look at testing, masks, and social distancing policies. The fully vaccinated players will be tested for COVID once every 2 weeks. They won't need to wear masks at team facilities or while traveling. And they'll have full access to weight rooms, saunas, or steam rooms and won't be required to social distance in any team facilities. The unvaccinated players will be tested every day. They will be required to wear masks at team facilities and while traveling, and they must practice physical distancing in team spaces. Just 15 unvaccinated players will be allowed in the weight room at one time, and they can't gather for meals, and they will be banned from saunas and steam rooms. Basically, vaccinated players will be returning to work much as it was pre-pandemic, with many of the restrictions of 2020 lifted. But those without the vaccine will remain under heavy restrictions. So what kind of penalties will players face? If an unvaccinated player comes in contact with a COVID-positive individual, they will still be required to quarantine for 5 days. Fully vaccinated players who receive an exposure won't be subject to that quarantine, and the NFL or its franchises could come for unvaccinated players' pocketbooks. While vaccinated players are allowed to visit high-risk places like bars and nightclubs, an unvaccinated player will be fined up to $50,000 for the first offense if found at one of these high-risk locations. This also comes with big changes on game day. Only vaccinated players will be allowed on the team charter. Unvaccinated players will have to travel separately, won't be allowed guests in their hotel rooms, will be banned from the cafeteria and meeting rooms, and won't be allowed to leave the hotel to eat. In-person interviews will return for vaccinated media members and players, but unvaccinated players won't be allowed to participate. This is crazy. Did we vote on this? That's what started a Twitter rant from Bills wide receiver Cole Beasley, who appears upset with the agreement the Players Association made with the NFL. Joe Mixon also expressed his opinion on Twitter, saying in a tweet that the NFLPA is not for the players. The NFL appears to be providing an incentive for its players to get fully vaccinated, but the rift it may cause in the locker room has already begun. We'll see how it plays out when training camps open, but as for COVID-19 protocols for next season, that's how it would work.